AEW wrestling fans, professional wrestling fans, not WWE McIdiot fans. All my fans have been saying, Mike, please, you've successfully told us that WWE is garbage. It's no longer a program worth supporting. Watch the monthly pay per views, skip the weekly shows for WWE. Please, what can you tell us? Your insights on this AEW. Now, as you may or may not know, I've gone to many AEW shows in person. You can find exclusive clips and wonderful things on my Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. But I fell behind on the television program on Fyter Fest. I'm a very busy individual, so I fell behind, but I caught up to week one. So we're going to go, and this is 8 days ago for those that are really in check with this, but I'm going to give you my analysis and just some personal thoughts on the show, what could be improved, what I enjoyed. Fyter Fest week one, they're coming from Fort Worth, Texas. The first match, Ricky Sparks versus Brian Cage for the FTW title. Interesting in-house fighting, a bit of nepotism. That Hook, Taz's son, is at ringside, of course. Pro wrestling's full of nepotism. That's why unqualified individuals have jobs, and people like myself who have no family members in AEW or WWE don't have jobs because it's nepotism. Anyway, Sparks and Cage, it seemed like the crowd was really cheering for Sparks. He got more of a warm pop. I mean, it seems like it's hard to cheer like a 325-pound monster against a guy who's probably 220. Definite weight advantage for Cage. Of course, Cage has lost to women in the past. He's lost to Tessa Blanchard, so how tough can he be? In any event, some chicanery. I believe Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs conking Cage over the head. I had really no issue with this match. We all saw this thing, coming to a head like this with these individuals. I mean, it's just something that you've seen, and that's fine. A lot of times AEW does stuff that you can see happening because they follow logical storylines. So if something makes sense because that's where it was headed, it doesn't have to be a swerve, bro. It's okay. So what did I think? I thought it was a decent match. I thought the trunks of Sparks were a little odd, like kind of weird paisley trunks or something. I do like Sparks, but he's probably more of a natural babyface. Sparks, that is. In any event, here's my problem with this whole thing. It wasn't actually the match. The match was fine. If the accomplishment was trying to get Brian Cage as a babyface, I guess that was accomplished. I'll watch Fyter Fest week 2 to give you further thoughts. This segue that we shot from Alistair, basically Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry, they go to Alistair Black. Okay, they do a Cody thing. I'm jumping ahead. Cody comes in. And as Cody's coming to the ring, he says, "I'm feeling boisterous." That line could have been cut. If Cody was winging it or if he had his committee of promo guys or whatever, "I'm feeling boisterous" was a little lame. Cody wearing the white outfit, calling out not Alistair Black. What's his name? Malachi Black. So he's doing that. Cody does a fairly decent promo in the ring. Some of the fans were booing Cody, you might have heard. And then they segue to Malachi Black, and Jim Ross is speaking over the segue. Like Ross is doing too much. Like Ross is not allowing the action to speak for itself. And look, I know Jim Ross gets very upset with all types of criticism. I'm not here to crucify good old JR. I'm just saying there's a time to be silent, Jim. Back to basics. If they're going from the ring to a backstage promo from somebody, let them fucking do this shit. You don't have to hold our hand through this thing. I'm getting somewhere with this Jim Ross stuff, by the way. So then we do that segment where Cody is basically, calling out this Malachi or whatever the fuck his name is, Black, and it was a good little break apart. They looked about the same size, the same physicality, about the same age, both wearing suits, white, black for Cody, black suit for Black, and they had a break apart. It was all fine and good. I really had no issue with that. The makeup shit on his face, it kind of works. Show me what you didn't show Vince. Show me here in AEW, this fresh start Malachi or whatever your fucking name is. Show me what you didn't show Vince McMahon. and you didn't have the opportunity to show. So the next thing, though, is interesting. They show the Santana or an Ortiz attacking Tully in the dressing room. Well, didn't you just complain? The good guy, Cody, just say, well, you beat up this old Arn, you kicked Arn in the face, Malachi. Now I guess the baby faces threaten Tully, but they don't actually beat him up. So that's the difference here. So, okay, there's some parameters. The parameters are the good guys threaten to beat up the old man, Tully, but they don't actually beat him up. Whereas the bad guys actually beat up Arn, they kick him in the head, meaning Malachi. The Cowboy, what's his dick match? The Cowboy promo, Page with the promo, and then this bunch of bad guys, the Elites or the Inner Circle or whatever the fuck. I guess it's the Elite. They come out. Matt Jackson, I mean, here's the thing with all these guys. When these guys were baby faces, I wasn't really a fan of Omega and the Bucks. But as heels, they work. They're annoying. You feel like you could beat them up yourself. That's effective heel work. Cornette is not going to give those guys credit, but I will, because you see Matt Jackson, he's running his mouth. They wear these god-awful outfits. They're heels, and it's working. It's working as heels. And Omega doing his Triple H facial impersonation, it seems to be a dig. It seems to be a dig, and that's fine. It's all heel shit. So the crowd was into it, chanting cowboy shit. Very exciting. Let's see. Okay, then it seemed like a good promo. Look, they've talked about this for a while. Like, okay, they always hotshot these WWE guys, Rusev coming in and becoming Miro and getting the championship, the TNT title, and Jericho being a former WWE guy, getting the first title. Well, now they're doing some homegrown shit. Adam Page, as far as I know, never touched a WWE ring, and that's who's over. That's who the people want. Okay, the next thing, the Jericho promo. Jericho kind of doing standard issue babyface Jericho promo in the dressing room. I thought the most interesting thing of that segment when MJF and Shawn Spears attacked Jericho was the chair shot to the neck looked pretty good. It looked like it was stiff. It looked like it hit him. Now, I don't know if Jericho just has a unusually strong neck or maybe it was just a good camera angle, but I watched it twice, and then I said, okay, if they got me twice where it looks pretty effective, I'm not going to dissect this thing any further. But I thought it was a good chair shot. I thought it was a fairly effective thing. This 5 stages of Jericho will be interesting to watch. Okay, now we have Excalibur. I'm jumping forward to Hardy and Christian. Geezers at Caesars was a fight, a boxing match. Most of you probably don't know, never heard of. It wasn't a good one. It was George Foreman versus George Clooney in like 1991. Fucking big white tomato can guy. What was his name? Jerry Cooney. Jerry Cooney, not George Clooney. George Foreman versus Jerry Clooney. Jerry Cooney was a big fucking chump. And there's a white tomato can. And George Foreman and him had a fight, and then Foreman won. And eventually Foreman fought Holyfield, and then he actually won a championship over Michael Moore in 1994. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about with this match, Hardy and Christian. I wish they had done some type of promotion, the Geezers in Texas or something, or the last roundup, something about it. But they didn't do that. I thought it was a decent match. It was okay. It was good, and then here's one thing about Excalibur. Once again, the commentary. Hardy hit some move. Was it the Twist of Fate or whatever the fuck it was, or a foreign object? And Excalibur goes, Hardy's going to win it. Well, anytime you hear that said, you know that he's not going to win it. You know what I mean? So why bother to say that? Because as soon as Excalibur said, Hardy's going to win it, he's not going to win it. So don't say that, Excalibur, okay? Use a little more intelligence if you have any. What else happened? Something happened. When Christian won the match, they shot to the fans. And in the crowd, there's a lot of people. It was nice to see a big crowd there. And there's like a little girl who gets excited. She cheers, like a cute little kid who's cheering, like she's excited that Christian won the match. And her dad looks to her and he picks her up in the air. And that's kind of the nicety of professional wrestling. Like, the good guy wins, and I'm going to pick up my daughter and celebrate. So it was kind of cute. If you really into that, you can watch that on the replay. But I just thought it was a nice moment, just kind of brings you back home. Like, this can be entertaining for the family, even though there's some swearing and so forth. We go to the next thing, which I had written down, which was this Jungle Boy thing. Jungle Boy, the people come out to attack Christian, Matt Hardy's guys. The guy was smiling quite a bit, the private party guy. Jungle Boy and slides in. They've been doing this, I think, since whenever the fuck, since Christian and Jungle Boy were the last two in this battle royal. Obviously, it's a relationship that they're trying to have some airtime with Christian and how he fits in with these guys. And here was kind of like Christian was Miss Elizabeth, and I guess that makes, what's the muscle guy, the dinosaur guy? He's Hulk Hogan, and Macho Man is Jungle Boy. So kind of a weird metaphor, but the whole, like, you're picking up my person or you're in my spot. So it doesn't quite make much sense because it's not a perfect analogy, because Jungle Boy would actually be Miss Elizabeth or something, and or Christian. But it was just kind of funny that they made something, they added a little salt to this feeling of Jungle Boy feeling of supplanted by being supplanted there. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was interesting. So we'll see where that goes. Highlight of the show for me was actually another backstage segment, which was the Miro segment. I thought that was interesting. I thought Miro did a nice backstage segment. Once again, I mean, I didn't do a video at the fucking time, but when they brought Miro in as this best man character and people were shitting and pissing and pissing all over it, I thought, hey, why not bring the guy in, have him have a goofball gimmick, let him warm up to the process, and let the fans get hungry for Miro to kick some ass. And that's what they did. Instead of just having Miro come in and obliterate everyone, you had him as this fucking goofball for a while, a goofball sidekick, wearing the Mickey Mouse shirt, and then you allowed him, his character, as they fucking say, to go somewhere, which I thought was smart. And even good old Cornette didn't see that. So, I mean, good for fucking Miro. When he held up that TNT title, it looked like he actually meant something. And I guess they're going to do this Rampage thing now, so I guess he doesn't have to change the name of the TNT title, because they are going to be on fucking Friday nights. So I guess SmackDown and Roman Reigns have another oppositional force. What else happened? Shivani botched Dr. Britt Baker's name. Now, again, you're going to have to go back a week, more than a week, to see this, but if you have it on YouTube TV or something, you can see Shivani say, Dr. Britt Baker. Like, the way that Shivani said Dr. Britt Baker, he kind of stumble-fucked, and he said her name in a weird way, like he said, Dr. Britt Baker. The other thing I'm going to get into right now is this whole relationship of Shivani and Dr. Britt is kind of weird. If Shivani is a babyface commentator, why is he playing Huggy Poo with Dr. Britt at this point? Now, is Dr. Britt, did she fade into being a babyface? Is she trying to be the Stone Cold of this fucking organization? She's the heel-ish face now because she's feuding with Nyla? I don't know. I just don't think that Shivani needs to be hugging on her. I mean, what would Lola or whatever his wife's name is, Lana or Lori or whatever the fuck, Shivani's wife, you've probably heard her name. I don't know. It just seems a little creepy to me, but maybe they could go somewhere with that creepiness. Just odd. The Magical Girl comes back after 16 months. Hard to believe that AEW has had people that you can remember after 16 months. I always liked the Magical Girl when she did her little cape thing. Like, she kind of used, like, her dress or her outfit as a cape. She didn't really do that this time. Wrestling Penelope Ford, look, if you want to be a misogynistic pig, Penelope Ford, is about as hot as any of those women from the late 90s WWE, to be honest with you. I mean, she could hold her own with some of those chicks. Is she quite as smoking hot as Trish Stratus? Probably not, but in the ballpark. I mean, Penelope kind of holds her own. And the last thing they really did with her was that wedding thing. I mean, Penelope's pretty smoking hot. Why is she losing to Magical Girl? I mean, it just seems like they're not pushing Penelope Ford right now to be a champion at all. Like she's way down on the ladder. So just for her to have airtime, TV time, she's very attractive, and so she loses. And I guess it doesn't really hurt her because she's just there for her looks. They're not expecting her to win. I don't know what to tell you, but I thought maybe they should push Penelope Ford at some point. What the fuck else? The Coffin Match, it was interesting. Okay, here's the thing. We're 15 minutes in. I'm just getting some interesting things going. Sting misses this stinger splash on the outside. The camera cuts away, and it goes to, was it Ethan Page or working on trying to get handcuffed from the turnpost? And I heard at one point, I could be putting things together wrongly, but I thought I heard that like the director of these AEW Dynamite shows used to be the director of Nitro and wasn't considered to be very good. I could be wrong. Something like that. Like it's the same guy from 20 years ago. And it's kind of like if Nitro went off the air, why are they bringing this guy back? Like there's kind of this revisionist history where when you say Nitro now, when they revere it in AEW that they kind of do sometimes, it's almost like they always think of like 96, 97, early 98 Nitro. Why don't they think of 2000, 2001 Nitro? You know what I mean? And I just think that this director guy, I could be wrong, who's ever in charge of the shot selection, has bad instincts. And apparently he's been doing it for a while, but his instincts are just not good, quite frankly. So why, just because someone has been doing something for a long time, if they've been doing it poorly for a long time, you fire their fucking ass. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, it was such a pivotal moment. Granted, it would have been worse if Sting had connected on that stinger splash, but you missed the fucking stinger splash. I mean, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? And I know that you can say, well, gee whiz, mistakes happen. It seems to happen a lot. Here's the other thing with these shows. And so fucking what's his dick? Darby Allin wins the match. You have to give AEW credit, and I'm sick of this whole, AEW doesn't make any stars. Well, they made Hangman Page. They made Darby fucking Allin. I don't see any assholes WWE having anything to do with Hangman Page or Darby Allin, as a matter of fact. But let me ask you this. I went to the shows for about 6 months, from February until most recently at Daly's Place, and I never felt tempted that I had to come home and watch the shows to pick up on the commentary. There's something off with this commentary. It could just be too much. I can't really find a fall guy. I feel, in a way, that Shivani is the strongest of the three. I'm talking about the running play-by-play commentary. I like Jim Ross. He's a legend. But at times it almost feels like, and I think he is enjoying himself. I think he's enjoying his life. He's active. He's part of the team. He's got something to do. He's loved and appreciated. But if you listen to his podcast like I do, there's so much red-ass JR in this guy. He's so angry. I don't know if that's affecting me. Listening to his podcast is affecting my enjoyment of his commentary. But I feel that it might be. And Shivani, I feel, is the best of the three. And I do, and Excalibur, I'm kind of middling on. I mean, I could do a better job than him. Joe Cronin could do a better job than him. I feel like he's okay. He knows all the current stuff. I'll give him credit for that. He knows more about this current modern day wrestling than I do. Excalibur, like this indie scene crap. I just don't know. There's something about the commentary is not so good that you feel like you need to watch it. If you go to the live show, you don't feel like you missed out because you didn't hear the commentary. There's something about the AEW commentary. I just feel it's not. It's something about it or the production of the show. There's something off. So that's my Fyter Fest Week 1 review. Granted, it's 8 days old. I will do another one shortly. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. And if you make comments, if you give me feedback like people demanded that I do some AEW analysis, I might just treat you. I might just reward you.